Welcome everybody to the Winning and Learning Talk Show. I'm Joey, we got Ferg over here, and Jimmy over there. If you guys are watching this video, the newsletter is already out. That means we learned about time management and how to use a planner or a calendar to go about your daily life. So we already learned how to win. Now it's time for us to learn. My friend Avery from back home sent me one of his journal entries that he wrote a little bit ago, and today we're going to read on it, reflect on it, and give some advice if we can. But before we start, how are you guys feeling today? Start with you, Ferg.
Pretty good. Slept good. Ate good. So
We like that. And for you, Jimmy?
I'm good. Patch took the L yesterday, but great environment to be in. It was definitely
made me happy.
Definitely somewhere I never thought I'd be able to go for $60. So
Right, good deal.
yeah.
All right, you guys ready to get into it?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a few paragraphs in this. I'll stop after every paragraph so we can kind of reflect on it.
Okay.
The most influential blessing bestowed upon my life was not being born into a wealthy family. While other kids grew up living in the lap of luxury, I was raised by lack thereof. At a very young age, my curiosity grew rapidly. We never had money to go on a family vacation, so I just went alone in my head. I would fantasize about skiing the Alps or finding Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest. I would go out of my way to learn about different places and cultures to have more destinations to visit. This caused me to start a path of constant learning. Every ounce of free time was dedicated to learning new things. One of the subjects was my curiosity, was philosophy. Alright, thoughts on that opening paragraph?
I can kind of relate to that. Like, I'm not like unwealthy, I guess you could say, but like I have a pretty big family and similar, I guess, childhood. Like, I would go to some places, but it wasn't like the Disney World.
Right, you never want to cruise every single summer. You never went to Disney World every year, right?
Yeah.
You, Jimmy?
I like that. He paints a picture really well. You kind of know what kind of person he is already just by him saying he would fantasize about that kind of stuff. Like, you kind of know what you're getting right there.
Right.
He's really deep. He's like that. Go
Stick
ahead.
with it. It gets a lot better. I read this before. While it might be odd to see an 11-year-old reading a philosophical work as one of the turning points in myself, I was able to read different perspectives on life from such a young age. When another kid was being mean to me, I learned not to take offense to it because of authors like Don Miguel Ruiz. During my freshman year of college, I tore my ACL and was in recovery for a long period of time. I was a jailed court jester, put in solitary confinement for the next 4 months. It caused a major shift. For once in my life, I wasn't able to go on vacation. Any imaginary sandy beach was met with dark clouds. Hours upon hours of being alone started to have its effect on me. High tide was set and a thunderstorm was rolling eastbound. My depression was at an all-time high. Attempt after attempt to pull myself out didn't work. I took up compulsively smoking cannabis. 6 grabs before noon isn't a sign of healthy behavior. I needed a dramatic change. This caused me to look more within instead of looking outwards. The first realization made was I need to find out who I was. Then rationally, I asked the question, how do I find myself? Thoughts?
Jeez, that was deep. I can't relate to it exactly, but like my first major concussion, it was very similar. Like, I could not do anything outside for, I think it was about a month and a half, 2 months. So it was the same thing. Like, I was just stuck by myself, basically. Parents went to work. It would just be me in my house. Maybe my sibling would come in or something like that. So, not that I picked up bad habits like that, but it really takes a toll on your body. You know?
Yeah, those kinds of injuries, when they happen, at times when you never see it coming, like, you really have to appreciate when things are going well, when you're smooth sailing, because those kinds of things throw people off, and then they have life-changing effects like that. I know for me, I had a concussion in 4th grade, and in the 4-month recovery process, because it was bad, I put on like 40, 50 pounds of just straight fat.
You became a whole new person.
Yeah, and I was miserable. It was hard for me to do a lot of things that I was used to doing, but more importantly, like, I had weight to lose for the next 3 or 4 years of my life. And it changed, people's, back when you're younger, like, socially, it's a big deal if you're fat.
I mean, and even right now to a point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people look and say, okay, they're not the healthiest person, or they have trouble working out, stuff like that. But like you said about the first paragraph that we read, about like, wow, what he said, that really tells you what kind of person he is. Now, did you mean that in a good way or a bad way?
Oh, in a good way.
But now reading this last paragraph about the dark alley he turned down to, kind of weird to envision that first person that you pictured in your head going down a dark path like this, right?
Yeah, it's just, this example is like very, not example, but this kind of story is what makes life so good. Because when you can climb back, which I'm assuming he's going to get into in this entry, but I like hearing about the climb back just as much as how you can learn from it. So I'm very interested.
It's also like nobody's invincible, even if you think you are. Like a lot of people have that mentality until something like this happens, and since they have that mentality, they're not prepared. Like most people aren't. Obviously, like not everybody tears ACL. Most people don't ever do that.
Yeah.
But like concussions, like we've had or something like that, it's how you build back your resilience to that setback. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's all about how you get back up. That is when you're down, you realize how much you miss or what you could have done, and then when you get back up, what do you do with that opportunity?
Like, both a literal and metaphorical example. He could not run right away because he tore his ACL, but nobody can when they're in a hole. But you have to crawl, you have to walk, you have to run.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
You guys ready to keep going?
Yeah.
Who am I? Some people know who they are. Others have to seek for who they are. I was the latter, walking aimlessly looking for a place for my footing to get a grip on, but slipping the whole way. In high school, I was everywhere and nowhere. Multiple sport athlete, leading the school play, friends with everyone and yet still not found. I got attached to new identities every so often. A straight edger, party animal, or a walking mess were some of the ones I faked for a while. How do I find myself? How do I actually figure out who this complex being is? My spirit withered and cracked, my mind tortured, my body was injured. Death was a miss from my life. Never had a close relative die. A few dogs passed away when I was young. No real grief. I became my own death. Subsequently, after my ACL operation, the level of pain was indescribable. It made me break down emotionally, physically, and mentally. A constant pain for 5 days straight. But after those 5 days, I learned one piece of the puzzle of my life. I put my trust in hope. When the rivers flood and the sky darken, it won't last forever. All storms pass eventually. A few weeks after that experience, I started reflection on other times of pain. Through all pain comes growth. It is the vehicle in which self-development arrives. Thoughts right there?
wow, that's deep. It gets deeper. Like you don't expect that. It really did.
Right? And I told you when I was talking to my friend Avery, who wrote this, I knew he was going to send me something that would make us think beyond the walls that we're capable of thinking of, that we typically think of. Like you said, from that first paragraph that we listened to, you could kind of tell what kind of person he is just from reading something. You haven't seen him. I went to high school with him every single day for a few years. I know what kind of person this is. This guy's he's a crazy guy. Good crazy. Like,
yeah, good crazy.
Like, I can't wait to see where he's going to be in a few years. Just
outside the box. He's so outside the box.
Yes.
With this.
So unorthodox, so unconventional in the way he does everything.
What's that?
Forbes list guy.
Forbes, I could see him, yeah. And I kind of completely understand the first part, what he said right there, how in high school he put on all these different charades. Like he was multi-sport athlete, he was a lead in the school play, a partier. Like he, looking back on it, I never really noticed it, but reading it, I am seeing it, that he had these different faces that he would put on for like months at a time, and it would change every so often, very so slightly. But now I'm looking back and I see that I did see him do that. But again, that's not an uncommon thing for high schoolers to do.
I was just about to say that. It's so, high school is such a time of not finding who you are. I don't think you do that in high school.
It's experimenting, kind of.
It's experimenting and putting yourself in unique situations, or maybe you get really close with one friend in that science class you have in the mornings, and he just always makes class better for you or whatever, and so you start to hang out with him for a little bit. But then baseball season comes around, now you meet with the baseball guys more, and you just kind of you go through all those different phases or whatever of different activities, different behaviors, and then once you get out of high school and you either go to college or go to the real world, that kind of stuff, you have a lot more responsibility to yourself to know who you are and what you want to do.
Is it immature or unhealthy to somewhat fake some of those faces? to kind of maybe fit into a new group of friends or kind of figure out maybe I'm kind of like them, maybe I am. Is it unhealthy or immature to fake a face in high school?
I don't think it's necessarily like not for everybody. It's like sometimes people just like try to play a charade their whole life or something like that, or even for a couple months. But like him, like maybe he was just trying stuff out. You know, like to him it may have been he's faking it because he knows deep down that that's not exactly who he is. But like a lot of us have those similar feelings, right? So I think it's even in college. Like obviously I'm younger than you guys, but I still see a lot of people experimenting. Like they'll. You join a frat, you join a team, you join a club, start a club, you know what I mean? You party or not, there's a lot of experimenting. And some people might not even start to go out until their junior year or something like that, you know? So there's still a lot of opportunities, I guess, and you could still have another character arc, kind of like he did.
Yeah.
You could still get injured in college, you know, when you're 40.
Absolutely.
There's still time.
Yeah, and I would say you attract what you are as far as people and in like social situations. If you want to sit down and be in the corner, then you know you might not get bothered at all if that's what you want. But if you're out there and you're outgoing and you're very genuine with people, I think it's tough. I think it's tough to see people who are genuine and outgoing like that around fake people, around people who are putting on the faces and things like that. And I know for me personally, once I started to learn and make judgments on, you know, where I wanted to be, who I wanted to hang out with and stuff like that, in the past couple of years, I've definitely noticed, like, where did all these people go that I never liked hanging out with or, like, seeing in school? Now I know who I want to be around, and I don't have to put myself in weird positions because I'm attracting what I want to be around, and have those influences on my life. I'm grateful for them.
Right. There's a saying that I always like to say to myself every day. Like if you surround yourself with winners, you're going to be a winner. If you surround yourself with losers, you're going to be a loser. So just like in high school, like the group of people that you surround yourself with are who you become eventually. So now we're going to keep going in this story, all right? Every situation in my life that was painful made me a better person. Girlfriend broke up with me. Car broke down. No money to buy food. All of these experiences crafted me into a person who can keep fighting for the next day. Every day after the operation, I would repeat over and over again that maybe tomorrow wouldn't be worse. It never was. The resolve and gumption to gander one's circumstance as not the end-all be-all is meritful. For my soul wanted to grow and develop, this was its medium. One of the major life turning points was cleaning, picking up the dirty clothes off the floor, cleaning the dishes, taking out the trash. Almost laughable, but the happiest months after the darkness was when I first started working. It gave me purpose, gave me a meaning, gave me something to achieve and strive for. Tomorrow, I will wake up and do something. This was the mantra of being a working man. Hard, labored hours define me. This, thus far, has been the greatest test of my spirit. Next paragraph. The direction of my work can be interpreted by the reader. The meaning drawn from my words are yours as much as they are mine. And that's where it ends.
Avery Allen Poe.
Avery Allen Poe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that last reading that I just had. First start off by saying that every situation in life that brought him pain allowed him to grow. Girlfriend broke up with him. Car broke down. No money to buy food.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly. If you grow up not feeling any pain for a while, but then you feel pain for the first time, it's going to hit you hard.
Yeah.
So, like that one song goes, like, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, you know?
Stand a little taller.
And that's so true. I don't think it could get more true than that. Because, you got it. No, you got it.
All right. I love bringing up examples of when someone, like, loses for the first time or something bad happens for the first time, and it's so later on in life because they've been lucky and they've been blessed and things like that. I always think it's so interesting the way those people act in the like following months or whatever, or what they do with their lives. If
what do you mean?
Really good or really bad?
Like how they react.
Like
to it.
you don't get the job after college. You don't get your first dream job. How do you handle that? I always think to myself that like, thank God I played baseball growing up. When you can be happy if you do well 3 out of 10 times. and just constantly striking out every game over the summer or all spring long, you just get used to it. And you get really used to the process of making every single swing better every day. And just drilling it into your mind that, you know, everything good and bad, you know, I hit a home run and then I strike out for the next 4 games. You can always learn from it and always take it in a better direction.
I like that baseball analogy you had.
I use it so much.
Because, like, I played baseball in, like, 6 years old, 7 years old. I never really played in middle school or high school. But that's true, because in baseball, as opposed to basketball or football or soccer, like, you're not striving for perfection because you're never going to hit the ball every single time you're at the plate. Let alone hit a home run every time you're up. But all those times that you fail, you know, okay, this was expected in a way. The best player in the MLB strikes out almost once a game, or maybe more. I don't know. Baseball. Good analogy. I did not. Wow, I haven't thought about that in a while. And I want to tie something into that. How those failures made you stronger and made you more tough to the next time you fail. You know, I failed before. This 100%. Isn't new to me. I know how to react to it. In 5th or 6th grade, I used to be like a little baby. Like, I used to get bullied a lot in a way. This kid, John Moore, who I think is a really great guy, is one of my best friends. He used to bully me all the time. And not even like he would harass me. He would just, every day before class started, he would take my pencil I had and just snap it. And then I didn't have a pencil to write for it. And I would cry. I would sit in class. Picture a 6th grade Joey Vitello getting his pencil broken by John Moore and just crying because he didn't have a pencil. It happened every day. And then one time I was crying and he said, "Hey Joey, look at this." And he showed me a little drawing that he wrote in his notebook. And there was a picture of me crying, holding a broken pencil. He was like, "Look, that's you right now crying." And then I cried even more. And my teacher was like, "Joey, why are you crying every day? Like, what's going on?" So then I embarrassed myself like crazy. I got up and was like, "John Moran's bullying me. Like get him out of here. Send him to the principal. This isn't fair. Like, he's breaking my pencil every day." And like I stood up in front of my entire class, crying, tears running down my face, holding my broken pencil, and just pointing at John. And John just sat there like, because they could just think they're having some fun. And up to that point, I was never bullied. So having that be my first time getting bullied, it really got to me, even though it seems so like laughable right now. But then I am so thankful for that time, because any other time after that where I was bullied or targeted in like this like hateful way, I was like, bro, like, this ain't new to me. Like, this happened to me before. I got my tears out already. Like, I'm not gonna cry over you anymore. That's why. Oh, this can be controversial to say this, but people say we need to bring back bullying. I support that 100%. I'm grateful for being bullied. If I wasn't...
to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, yes.
Like, not everybody's going to be nice to you in the outside world.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Not everyone's going to be nice to you in the outside world, which is why imagine going through elementary school, middle school, and high school, not getting bullied once because of the Stomp Out Bullying campaign, and no one's bullying you. But then you get to your first job, and you have a mean boss or a mean coworker. You're like, what? I thought there's no bullying allowed. No, I thought there's no bullying allowed. Like,
an ounce of animosity could ruin your life.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's...
You need to...
I would say bring back in-person bullying. I'm not ready to say bring back cyberbullying yet, because I think cyberbullying happens a lot, and it hurts more for younger kids. I feel like they're more susceptible to be like, oh my god, everyone thinks that, or that's going to go on forever because it's on the internet. That kind of stuff. I think that's a little bit harsh, but in-person bullying, bring it back. So serious.
Right. And on the cyberbullying thing, people always, if you post a picture, or you post like a video on YouTube or something, and you get 100 comments, 99 of those comments could be compliments, like, wow, great video, you look good. But then one comment will be like, you suck at this is garbage, you should quit.
And what do you think about for the rest of the day?
Only
that one comment that is negative, and you completely disregard the 99 that are like, wow, this inspired me, thank you, this is really beneficial and valuable to me. You're like, whatever. But one person says, this is lame. You're like, wow, is this lame? Everyone thinks this is lame, but in reality, it's just that one person. So that cyber stuff, where you see all these comments compiled into one list, it really just magnifies the negatives.
It's like a tool for negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people always say, like, with cyberbullying, just turn it off. Turn off your computer, turn off your phone.
It's not that simple.
Which sounds a lot easier than it's
Everything's
than it
online
is.
nowadays. You can't
Exactly.
just do that.
You can't just completely disconnect yourself from social media
Mhm.
because social media has good and it has its bad, but you can't just disconnect yourself from it because some jobs you need to have social media.
Mhm.
Like we're at an age where social media is a necessity, and it's hard for like the older generation to hear that. But we know it's a necessity now.
Yeah, people make living off of being an influencer,
So many
things like that. It's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. And what we're doing right now, this is going to be on social media.
Yeah.
We're not just sitting in like a.
This isn't for the newspaper.
Right,
Like,
yeah, like this isn't. We're just sitting outside and people can listen to us live. We're recording this and uploading it somewhere, and there's going to be comments. Hopefully, some good, some bad. Hopefully not bad, but I'm sure if there are bad ones, definitely going to consider those ones a little bit more than the good ones. Even though we just talked about it, because it's just psychological. There's no way around it.
But what are we gonna do with the bad?
I mean, after looking at it for a little bit, letting it get to you for a little bit, I'm gonna be like, okay.
It's feedback.
No, exactly.
It's part of the process. You're gonna get that negative, and
Yeah.
then you're gonna step up, and you're gonna get up, and then you're gonna get knocked down again later on.
Because
It's
the,
like the
the
stock
most,
market.
yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
How the
No,
dip stops.
yo, Ferg with the analogies. No, seriously. The dip before the rip, like every stock does that. Like every time before a stock shoots to the moon, it goes down hard. Maybe not hard, but it goes down a little bit. People buy the dip, and then phew, it goes back up. So right now, leave all the negative comments you want. We're hitting that dip right now, and we're gonna rip next month. But no, that's just something to think about.
I also the one thing you said about like cleaning his room, my life is run by routines basically because like I have ADHD and it's like it spikes sometimes. Usually when I'm really stressed out, it gets awful. Main thing I'll do is like if I can't focus on my homework, I will clean my room at the same exact time, and it just like it helps because like it's the same thing every time. You get your clothes, you fold it, and you put it away, and in between each of those steps, I'll do homework. You know. Just like I need structure, and that's a real way to keep, I guess, grasp of like things that you need to do every day.
Yeah.
It's like that constant sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly.
I clean my room, and I'm huge on cleaning rooms too. Like I could talk about that forever. If you live in a messy room or a messy household or a messy environment, your whole life's gonna be a mess.
You'd hate my apartment. You would hate my apartment.
You don't think that's true?
No, it's totally true. My logic and the way I have my room organized is that I know where everything is.
Yeah,
I am not a person who loses shit all the time. I
Would-
know where everything is, and if things go bad for 3 or 4 days where I have clothes on the floor, it does not bother me at all.
Oh no, I'm not saying if you have like a hoodie and like a few socks on the floor, your room's a mess.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you walk into my room, there's probably a hoodie and a few socks on the floor.
Yeah.
But my bed is always made after every morning.
I do not do that.
But there's no like wrappers on the floor. There's no like silverware or like plates on my floor.
No trash.
yeah.
No trash.
Maybe like I took off my hoodie and it missed the hamper that's laying there.
Yeah.
But would you consider your room clean right now? Honestly.
No, because I got clothes all over it from the trip yesterday to Buffalo.
And would
but-
you consider your room clean?
Yeah, fairly.
99% of the 365 days of the year, like 99%, yeah, it's clean.
B plus average.
Yeah.
And you do your homework in your room. I go to the library, but you do your homework in your room, right?
Yeah, I can do my homework anywhere, really. I
But
don't know.
would you be able to do your homework in your room
If it was
with
messy?
with
No.
plates and cups everywhere, your blanket on the floor?
No, which is
your-
really funny because I was just about to say, I was just about to add, before finals week, in December, I actually cleaned my room extremely hard the week before I started studying for finals and things like that. I cleaned my room ahead of time, and this is probably not a good system, but it works for me, just so that I didn't distract myself with it. Like, instead of like studying, I'd be like, oh man, I need to clean my room. So I just mentally put myself, like, I got that out of my mind right away by doing it a week beforehand, because that's exactly what my mind goes to when it gets a little bit hard to be in my room.
I was gonna say like before you, and that was actually a good example. You said it wasn't the best, but I thought it was pretty good because the first thing I was thinking when you said that was to get rid of distractions. Because like again, like I said, I have ADHD. Like the second, like if I'll hear a noise outside, I'll stop what I'm doing and I will hyper focus on it. So like a shirt on the floor would be the same thing. You don't want to spiral.
Yeah.
So I bet for you it would be a lot harder to get stuff done,
Yeah.
like schoolwork wise, if your room was a mess.
I go to
That's all
LSU
you would
to
think
do
about,
homework.
right? Yeah. So you go to the campus too.
I have
yeah.
to. I started doing that halfway through last year, and it helps so
Right.
much.
Just the environment is everything. and I'm gonna give a little sneak peek about what we're gonna be talking about next week with the first impression. Like, if you guys go to someone's place for the first time, and their place is a mess, like a complete, looks like a tornado was just in there, empty bottles everywhere, some random liquid spill all over the floor. It smells bad. It's just not a clean environment. It's very messy. What's your first impression on them?
Well, can I say something before that?
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm never at my apartment?
Because you just described it to the T. My roommates, oh boy.
Hey, yo, shout out the roommates.
Shout out 1611, but upstairs. Yeah, no, that you have a point. Like, if there's even like a weird smell or something, like you're gonna think about that at least a little bit. It might not affect like, oh, this person's weird or something like that, but it definitely helps to have a good setting when you meet somebody.
I would definitely say if it was me and I would walk into that kind of situation, I would definitely say that if I don't know the person well enough yet, I would say, yeah, this is what's to come. Like, this is a big red flag. Like, if I knew the person well and they still had their like room or house, whatever, like that, I'd probably just let it slide. It wouldn't bother me as much. But if it was like second or third time hanging out with someone, like in college, you're bouncing into a friend's apartment, and that's what it looks like, I'd be like,
Right.
okay.
And it could be so powerful in the negative way, but it could also flip. Like, if you go to someone's place for the first time, you walk in, instantly, the air just feels so good.
Yeah.
It smells good. Maybe they have a candle lit, and I love candles, so I'm a huge
Got one
sucker
in my
for
room,
that.
man.
So if there's a candle lit, like, all the pillows are on the couch, so nice and organized. There's like nothing on the floor. Like, you could tell they vacuumed, they're cleaned. That first impression is like, okay.
Yeah.
One, they acknowledged that I was coming, and they prepared the place for me in a way. Also, wow, they have their stuff figured out. So if they have their apartment and their room figured out and clean, you could imagine how clean and organized in a way their life is.
Yeah.
So it could be negative and it could be good.
Yeah, how that transfers over is normally, I'd say most of the time, is pretty accurate. How many billionaires are there, whatever, that have just an absolute mess of people who like did it the right way? I'm not talking about Antonio Brown. We all know he's the messiest room in the world, but in general,
Pete Davidson. Probably.
You think Pete Davidson has a messy room?
Probably.
You think Kanye West has a messy room?
No chance.
not in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
No, he doesn't.
Alright, so I'm going to read this last paragraph again, in which he said, "The direction of my work can be interpreted by the reader. The meaning drawn from my words are yours as much as they are mine." What do you think that really means?
Well, I mean, it's kind of exactly what it says. Like,
Right.
if whoever reads it, they might, as they read it, visualize what he's saying, and then like
Take it
kind of
different
do
way.
what we did. Like
Yeah.
right after every paragraph, be like, wow, like I can relate to this. Kind of exactly what we did, really. But
Absolutely.
just in their head. So
Absolutely. That's all I was going to say. Is he literally just painted the picture that almost every human being lives?
because
He painted that picture so well, too.
where it says,
By the way.
"Drawn from my words, much they are." Drawn from my words are yours as much as they are mine. It's like after every single, even a couple of sentences, I could think about a story that I could relate to that.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Now, how well do you think we interpreted his story? Do you think we got a good grasp on it? Considering
Barely.
you guys haven't really met the kid, do you think you have a good sense of who he is now?
Yeah.
If you were to meet him, you think you'd be able to talk to him about this?
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of friends, I would say, that like to reflect like this.
Boy, you should meet some of my friends back home.
Yeah.
Everyone is big on this.
I wish,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, the kid Alex that we were talking to, shout out Alex, who was on that Zoom call with us yesterday or 2 days ago, big on this stuff too. The girl whose apartment we stayed at State, Lily, shout out Lily, I talked to her about it. She said she's interested in sending something for us to read too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff that we could talk about in the upcoming episodes, and I think it's going to be really interesting.
I have a few people I could ask that definitely can relate to this. One of my best friends could.
All right, and I think it's going to be something that'll spark a lot of conversation and a lot of thought and just reflection like we just had right now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this, and I hope you viewers thought this was interesting. So thank you for watching episode 1 of the Winning and Learning Talk Show with Joey, Ferg, and Jimmy. Shout out Avery Maski for the submission. I love you, bro. I'll put your Instagram in the comment section for people to follow. if they want to talk to you about this anymore. We'll catch you next week for the art of a first impression. Thank you. Was that good?
Yeah.
You guys think?
Thank you, Cole. If you're a #1 fan.